Hi there. Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. Yesterday was a little bit of a crazy night, so hopefully tonight will be a little calmer. Welcome to the show. This week's discussion topics, as always, are anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And unfortunately, that's pretty much everything these days. So you can talk about almost anything and it'll apply. So I have some things that are prepared, but if you have other topics that I haven't prepared, bring it on and just let us know what's going on and inform us. All right. The show's meant to be an opportunity for speakers, viewers and speakers to, the show's meant to be an opportunity for viewers and speakers to basically speak their mind, but also to serve as a tool for white people to learn the truth about systemic racism in America and learn it from the people who live it. Not me, but the other people who live it. I don't live it. I just talk about it a lot. Hi, Nails and Glitter. Hi, Joshua. What happened last night, though? What was that? And hi. I have no idea. That was totally insane. I don't know, but hopefully tonight will just be calm. I hope I didn't drive anybody away because of that. That was pretty crazy. I don't get it. It's like I just work here. I have no idea what that was about. Troll Tuesday. Yes. Thanks. Yep. Troll Tuesday. That's what it was. It was kind of exciting, actually. It's kind of fun. Well, maybe not for. Yeah, it was absolutely bizarre. I thought so. I've never. It's kind of like, what the hell? I just have no idea. That's real troll. Yeah, Nails and Glitter, you're the pro. You know this stuff. But she helped me tremendously, so I am indebted. Thank you. Oh my gosh, my setup today looks kind of weird. I'm just going to look at it for a second. And thank you for being here, Joshua and Nails and Glitter. And I cannot tell my numbers, but that's okay. Who cares? All right. So before we get started, if there's anybody who is, Joshua, but you are listening to Lev Parnas talk. Who? Teach me. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I'm really bad. I'm not worthy. I have no clue. If it's somebody from pop culture, I'm out. If it's, no, I don't know. I couldn't tell who was a troll and who wasn't. I mean, it was just, it's like raining trolls. A little bit funny, but a little bit not. Anyway, all right. I'm going to get started. My introduction. So before we start, I wanted to say hello. If you're new to watching, I'm Angry Soccer Mom. I'm not really angry. I'm just, I'm disgruntled and extremely hurt and devastated. But, angry, yeah, I guess so. And my kids don't play soccer. So, I'm just saying. I host this live show, and I do a live show on Tuesday now. My God, was that insane. And I run the YouTube channel. And I used to run a number of other groups until Mark kicked me off Facebook permanently. So, yeah, I've been spending the last couple weeks feeling sorry for myself because I'm got my ass booted. And it looks like it's for real. Justin, hello. Thanks for being here. Joshua, Rudy Giuliani has two goons that went to Russia. He's talking to, oh, really? Oh, no way. I had no idea. Damn. I'm not going to get very many views. She's awesome. That is too crazy. Which one? Rudy's talking to her or the Russian dudes? Oh my gosh. I had no idea. And I thought I was, oh my God, I thought I was on top of things. All right. So today I have some quick announcements. 2 weeks ago, I started my Tuesday night panel, and my friends were too afraid to come on and show their face. So, and I totally get that because they're afraid, white supremacist people will try to do something to them. And I don't blame them. So many of my potential guests said, I'm out, no way. So I'm going to try to make it a call-in show from now on. And I'll do all of the debates as they come up each week. I'll do all the debates. So, interesting. So, anyway, so it was a little crazy last night. I'm just laughing because that was a lot crazy last night. So Tuesday, bear with me with Tuesday. And on Tuesday, the weekly topics will be set ahead of time. And I'm trying to make it personal. I want to hear people who call in. I want to hear your real live experiences, because I shouldn't be talking about this. I should be having people who actually live it, who are numerically marginalized groups. You all should be talking about it. And I should just be listening and learning. But the way our society is right now, it's just so darn racist and ridiculous. More white folks need to step up to the plate. I mean, we did this. I mean, sure, I didn't personally do it, but now I know about it. And it's called taking some freaking responsibility. I'll do whatever I can to get equity in my lifetime, because aren't we supposed to be in this, like, I don't know, democratic republic that boasts liberty and justice for all? And it's a joke. I'm sorry. I love our country, but it is a joke. And not enough white folks are standing up. And I find it disgusting. Jamie, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I find it absolutely disgusting. Because like Jane Elliott says, how would you like to be treated the way we treat Black people in America? And not a single freaking hand goes up, because people know. They say, oh, I don't really know about racism. Oh, there's no racism. Nobody raises their hand, so they certainly know something. So anyway, I'm going to try to not rant too much. Let me see here. Tonight's topics that I prepared are kind of bizarre, actually, but weird. What's gone on since the drone murder of the Iranian general? My second topic is a new study about Black teens. And there's some suicide studies coming out, not on Black teens, but on people in general in the US. And they are daunting. I mean, it is really bad. There's in Virginia, there's a protest for their gun laws. And I'm just laughing because it sounds nuts. They've already declared a state of emergency for January 20th. And it's, what is it, like the 15th? So it's pretty bad. And then my last topic is a little bit different. It's about the lack of diversity now on the Democratic running stage for presidency. And I want to know what you guys think. Like, I mean, it started out pretty cool. So I'm going to start with a rant. And if you know anybody who would like to come to the show and talk and give their opinion, this would be a great time to go onto social media, since I have no social media anymore. Oh, I have a lot of that. I have some anger with, I have to admit. If you know anyone who would benefit from watching, bring them on. My rant is simple, and it is for the people who are standing around and watching the show and not doing anything. White America. Not everybody. Of course not. But you see, most of us. And so, yeah, don't get me started. So it seems like every week that's what I talk about here. I say the same damn thing. But it can't be said enough. It's time for white America to educate ourselves about our real racial history. Real. Like, what really happened. I'm a white person. I was born, I'm really white. In the summer, I get tan a little bit, but I'm generally an extremely white person. I was born and raised like all the other white folks in America's culture of white supremacy. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't really know because, hey, I just thought that I was like, just, the norm, like everybody else. And, I wasn't taught anything about our America's racial history. I didn't learn about the Devil's Punch Bowl. I didn't learn about the origins of police, in America. I didn't learn about the true nature of lynchings and just how depraved it was. I didn't learn about Black codes, Jim Crow, de facto segregation, Black Wall Street, sundown towns, or any of the major historical crimes against humanity that our nation has taken part in. And here's the scariest part of all. The depth of our racism in America. When I tell the white folks who talk to me, and they're like, oh, it's not that bad. And I'm like thinking, take whatever you think it is, multiply it by a gazillion, which of course is not a number, I know that, and you might get close. Everything seems to lead back to systemic racism. And it kind of makes sense. But the scariest thing is, my parents weren't even really ahead of their time, and they weren't overtly racist. Or they were maybe a little bit ahead of their time, but imagine, they just pretty much didn't see color. So we never talked about it. We talked about nothing. And I never asked them the question. So I had kind of a weird childhood. Imagine, my parents never mentioned a thing. They were colorblind. I was raised in the era of colorblindness, where you just pretended it didn't exist. And that was kind of the best practice. Just think how hard it is to not be racist in America. What if my parents were overt racist, plus all of society, plus all of education and school, and they skip all the it's all the whitewashed history. Just think. It's not a wonder we have so many people who are off the rockers with racism. There's a lot of push for us to believe white is right. And I am certainly not taking any responsibility off of white folks when I say that, but dang, this society was made, created, developed to keep white folks in power. And although my parents weren't overtly racist, and they didn't tell me one thing about racism, or equity, or equality, so I really didn't know anything. They said, treat everyone like you want to be treated. So I did. I've never heard my parents say a racial slur in their entire life, nor my grandparents, nor any relatives. Yet there I was at 18 years old. I had no idea about our racial history. I never knew there was a huge push to keep the status quo of society, making white supremacy just to seem the norm. I didn't know. You see, as white people, we have been fooled into believing bold-faced lies, better known as bullshit propaganda. And we buy right into it because we don't know any better. President Lyndon B. Johnson, and I've said this a bunch of times, he said it best. And this is kind of antiquated language, so please forgive, but he said, you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man. He won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon, and he'll empty his pockets for free. And this, to me, is the best example on the planet of what us white folks have been falling for generation after generation. We're suckers. It's pathetic, quite frankly. I'm not saying any one individual is pathetic, so don't freak out. But as a whole, as a system, this is insane. Okay, we see what's going on, and then we put our hand on our heart and talk about liberty and justice for all. What kind of bullshit is that? So I have some issues with a system where we pretend that we want liberty and justice for all, and we have absolutely no intention of giving it. Nope. So I want to tell you about a quick example of how I got some implicit bias. Now, implicit bias is, some people don't consider that racist, but if implicit bias, the lowest level of said racism, encourages you to discriminate, then lo and behold, I believe it's a form of racism. Okay? If you discriminate, then there we are. And it's really easy to get when you're born into this. And like I always say at these shows, would you walk by somebody who is slowly drowning in a pool and be like, who cares? Because you didn't build the pool? Yeah, we didn't build the system, but we're here now and we're benefiting from it. I mean, would you walk by somebody slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't shove them in? I hope hope not. So why the hell do we ignore systemic racism and pretend it's not our problem, or we don't see it? It's just that's the funny one. We don't see it, or it's crazy. Or we're in a post-racial era. It's like, yeah, right. So my parents didn't teach me about anything. They were kind of neutral, but society shoved me, got me. So my parents didn't teach me what redlining was. And redlining is a huge part of how non-white folks were kept and are still kept from accumulating wealth. It's a huge thing. So as a child raised in Los Angeles, what do you think I thought when I was like this 3-year-old driving around, and I'd look at these, it's a city, there's cities, and I'd look at deteriorating infrastructure, and I'd see boarded up businesses, and I'd see a bunch of Black people and brown people around them. I was 3. No one's telling me anything. I remember exactly what I thought when I was that age. Gaga goo goo. I was very young, gaga goo goo. I remember thinking, okay, and don't laugh because this is like, I'm just saying, I was a kid. Why do all these people want to live together in really areas that aren't really nice? Why don't they just come and live in really cool areas? I don't get it. Why would they want to do that? That's literally what I thought, because I didn't know, like, that they just wanted to live. I'm like, I don't get that. It was just truly an innocent kid's thing to think. So a few years went by, and I just figured, I don't get it. That's so weird. Why would they want to live in an area like that? I didn't know what redlining was. I didn't know what discrimination was, and laws that keep Black folks and brown folks and indigenous folks from African Americans from accumulating wealth over the years. Absolutely purposeful, absolutely on every level of our government. You can still find in the Realtor's Test today questions about redlining, and today, because today. So anyway, so when folks don't know about our own racial history, we white folks, then our conclusions about today's current and modern history come from a place of ignorance. I mean, they have to. We don't know our past, so we'll have to come up with something that explains what's going on now, and it's got to be ahistorical. Ahistorical is not good. So we are susceptible also to the lies that we believe. Like, people, here's a stereotype that just kills me every time. Black folks are lazy. Are you freaking kidding me? Many Black, not all, but many Black folks came for enslaved humans. Lazy? It's a joke. It's like we set up the scenario to not allow them to discriminate and not allow them to get the good jobs that they deserve like everyone else. And then we call them lazy. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. That's really bad. So anyway, the first thing, and another part of it is the first thing someone learns is very likely something they'll cling on to despite even ample evidence. So social science research has taught us that. It's called like the backfire effect. They say, and this works almost every time, if you're taught something and you definitively believe what you're taught, even when faced with absolute evidence that it's not true anymore, people cling on tighter to the false information. I do not understand why, and it's probably not all people, but that's insane. So then I think, no wonder that Trump folks, who probably, just thought, oh, maybe he'll do something great for our economy. Maybe he'll, I don't know what they thought. They didn't read about the Central Park 5. They didn't read about his horrific housing discrimination cases. And apparently they didn't know his parents were Klan people. Or maybe they did. I don't know. But they had to cling on to, no matter what he did, they kind of had to like not lose faith, I guess. I don't know. I'm not professional in that field, but I'm telling you, the backfire effect is strong. It explains innate human behavior, and it's probably evolutionary. So people tend to cling on harder to the initial beliefs that they get, even when faced with overwhelming evidence. So do not teach your children that a dog is a cat, or you might screw them up for life. I'm just kidding. So the importance of knowing our own racial history cannot be overemphasized, because it's no one's responsibility but ourselves to educate ourselves as white folks and other white folks about our own racial history. And you'll hear defensive folks say, I'm nice to everybody. I'm nice to everybody. And that is like really nice. It's a lovely sentiment. It's good to be nice to everybody. Like I encourage it, but it's also an uneducated one. And one that still perpetuates systemic racism. It's not enough. Remember, it's a system. Personal racism absolutely adds to it, but this is a system. And it doesn't have to be on purpose. It doesn't matter. It's still systemic racism. If you had good intent, that's good. But if it causes a discriminatory outcome, then it doesn't really matter what your intent was, no offense. So this is why white folks need to educate ourselves enough to be comfortable to talk about systemic racism so we can actually teach other white people. It is not the responsibility of people who are Black, brown, indigenous, African American, Hebrew, Israelites. It is not their responsibility we can't use their emotional energy to educate us, the oppressor, I guess you could say. I mean, it's not their responsibility. And the sad fact is that most white folks don't know the fundamental basics about our society of white supremacy and systemic racism. And actually, the truth is, most white folks don't even understand what systemic racism is. They might think it's like, oh, I've never seen a cross burning on a lawn. I mean, no, that's old-fashioned. That's from the olden days. People are smart. It's a lot more covert, and you know, a lot of people just kind of suppress it because they can't deal with it. So we got to be brave, people. White folks, we have to be brave. So systemic racism is not going to go away if everyone's just nice. Unfortunately, it's taken a life of its own. It kind of taken on a life of its own and has ruled our nation from before the origins. So don't get me wrong here. It's not the place of white folks to be this big leader in charge of, we don't get to say that we know best how to cope and handle the systemic racism that our relatives or our fellow white folks. I know a lot of people don't really look at themselves as white in these days, but maybe we need to for a little bit. The only people I know who look at themselves as white are like white supremacists, the real thing. But anyway, it's not our place to lead. It's not our place to know, think we know best. We need to get our cues from the actual people living it each and every day in America. And we're gonna screw up. I have all the time. And you'll feel stupid and you'll be like, oh my God, I feel like an idiot. And you know what? We'll survive. A lot of people of color and Black people and indigenous people and African Americans, they're not going to, because of police brutality, injustices. Don't even get me started. So it's way past time for us to stop being played the fools. Right? Black, brown, indigenous people, African American people, and other people of color are not the cause of your problems. The racist beliefs we pass down from generation to generation are actually working in our own worst interest. Racism is not good for white folks either. It hurts us all because it makes us so we will never unite with a common plight to have a nice standard of living. We'll never unite with people in historically marginalized groups to stop the wealthiest elites from ruling us. They're the ones to blame, not our sisters and brothers who aren't white. But so that's why I think we're kind of fools. And that's my rant. And I'm sticking to it. I'm almost afraid to see what people have to say. Boop, boop. But I'm gonna. So let me just see here. Adjust a few things. Terrifyingly back it up a little. And we will see. Boop. Okay. Yay. Uh-oh. It's not Troll Wednesday, is it? Okay. Dang. Anton, thank you so much for being here. I know I kind of yacked a lot. Joshua, we need a history lesson. Yeah, I mean, I learn something every day. Every single day I learn something. And Joshua, let's just start with women in general. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but do tell me, I think. AC, do you have Collins? On Tuesdays, I'm going to have Collins. At least that's the goal. I'm going to have Collins. Why are you thinking you might have some sort of comment that you want to give or something like that? That would be great. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But Anton, like PBT says, this country is built on false associations. I think so. Justin, oh, you are so sweet. I love this channel. You're always right. Not always, but thank you. This is the bigotry of low expectations. Do tell me more. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. So, Ryan, being nice to someone is systemic racism. No, you might need a remedial lesson. No offense, you know, it doesn't mean you're not smart. It just, I might need to like give you like a private lesson or something. You know, I was a special ed teacher. So yeah, no, that's not what I mean. I'm just playing with you. Collins, I want Collins. Oh, okay. How would one go about falsifying systemic racism? Important question to ask. Falsifying it? You'd have to be more specific. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just kind of read a lot. Let me just see something. Nope, I'm no expert, but it doesn't take an expert to understand systemic racism and stuff. And I was teasing when I said I'm especially, because that was, I think you were trying to be funny. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. But let me keep taking comments and then we'll get to our stuff. Let me see. So yeah, I'm not, sweet boy, as sweet as you are, I don't know what you mean about falsifying it. I'm not sure what you mean, so you'll have to explain more. Joshua, it's kind of pretty simple. If you're a Jewish person, to be sympathetic and racist at the same time, man, you should have seen my grandma. Tell us more about your grandma. I really try to stray away from taking one whole group and saying that they're all this or all that. Now, the reason I say white folks are all racist at some level is because I include implicit bias. Most, or probably a good amount of people don't. So, but I include implicit bias. Saying someone's racist, it's not a yes or no question. It's not like, are you racist? It's a continuum. You know that. You've seen people who are like psycho and want to like lynch people and do like incredibly sick shit. And then you've seen people who are just kind of, well, I like black people. I have a black friend, you know? I mean, it's a really steep continuum. You see people, if you watch my first video I made, there's about 30 cliche reasons and excuses to deny racism, systemic racism. And you never hear anything new. And I always say, we have enough in this country to give everybody a chance at a great life. It's like when you have a kid. Let me explain. When you have a child, and your child is like, wah, I don't want to have a brother or sister. I want to be the only one. It's like, I actually have enough love for 2 or 3 or 4 children even. And we actually have enough freedom and, you know, for everybody. In fact, if we actually had some equity in this country, I think this country could be amazing. Talk about to form a more perfect union. Our Constitution was made and created to shift with time, okay? And I'm sure most of you know that. Let me get back to these things here. Okay, so explain. If I don't know what you mean, you got to explain. Let me see. How do you feel about mass immigration and the effect it has on Black communities? It's not my place to say the effect it has on Black communities. As a white person, there's certain places I don't go, and it would be inappropriate for me to go there. I listen to Black folks who say things to me about that. Mass immigration, I'm not really sure we have that, but explain more. That's absolutely definitely a controversial thing, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I think if everything improved for everybody, in other words, the most wealthy elites weren't running the show here and causing a huge gap, the middle class from my younger years to now is dwindling. It's unbelievable. So is huge corporations that have taken over. You can't even have like a freaking like lemonade stand. I mean, entrepreneurs, good luck, because nowadays it's not who does the best, it's not who's the most talented, and that's not how things should work. It's whoever has the most money so they can market their shit, and that's pathetic. I just find it's capitalism on steroids. It wasn't meant to be a lifestyle. It's meant to be an economic policy of sorts, and we have made it a lifestyle. And that's why I think our democratic republic is in a lot of trouble. Like, it could be too late. Okay, I'm blabbing. Blah. Sorry. If you guys got me triggered or whatever. Okay. So yeah, I'll happy to talk about that, Ryan, but just I will have other people who live it talk about it. Falsify, as in what ways can you critique it, proving it wrong? Critical thinking skills about saying systemic racism is wrong. I'm not sure at this point. I haven't really, because there's just so many reasons that it'd be like, how do I explain this without being rude? It'd be like, it's so obvious. It's anyone who's academic and studies it, pretty much, unless they're completely full of shit, they know systemic racism exists in every area of our nation. If they've studied history, there's no way to not, I don't really get what you mean, because it'd be like, you're kind of asking me to do the impossible. It's not real because I say it. It's real because it's real. But don't get me going. It's social science is pretty good these days. And it's kind of obvious, but I know I'm not answering your question. I apologize. Let me see. Ronald, hello. I think I'm skipping a bunch of people. Let me just back it up. I apologize. Wow. Yeah, sweet boy, as sweet as you are, I don't have the answers for you. Okay. Hi, Ronald. Oh, I was there. Hi, Ronald. Thanks for being here if you're still here. Sean, Bernie's going to be 46. I think that would be amazing. Oh, Bakari, thanks for being here if you're still here. Thank you. Awesome. Let me see. Bakari, people benefit from it, and that's why it's not challenged. Yeah, it's definitely people benefit from it. And even if they don't see that they benefit from it, why would they don't, a lot of white folks just, and I don't speak for white folks by any means, they don't see it as like something that they have to focus on or know about, because they're just, we're born into this. So we kind of think this is the norm, if that makes sense. So a lot of us don't consider ourselves white. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but we've never had to. It's a privilege because we're just the norm. Everyone else is the different one. So I hope that kind of makes sense. We don't look at it that way. And a lot of folks go nuts on when you say stuff about white privilege. And all it is because they're confused about what white privilege is. If they really knew the definition, they wouldn't care less. They would say, yeah, I guess so. But it's because it was a term from academia, and it was taken by, the mass population and just completely changed into what it's not. White privilege is the unearned privilege that we get because we happen, by chance, to be born white. It doesn't mean you have a good life. It doesn't mean you're rich. It doesn't mean you're happy. So the whole thing is just kind of gotten crazy. But let me just see here. Where am I? I wish this wouldn't scroll. Dave, hello there. Thank you for being here. Let me see, Bakari, Bakari, good point. Because they don't want to. It's not against them, so they never experience it. Man, I mean, a lot of people cannot learn vicariously. It's unbelievable. I do these, okay, you're gonna think this is crazy. I do these seminars and nobody ever goes because they're like, oh, I would never go to that. It's an anti-racism seminar. And what I do is for like 5 seconds, nothing, nothing horrible. I kind of try to simulate what Jane Elliott did with her blue eyes, brown eyes experiment in like late 50s, early 60s. And what I do is I get people, I'm going to explain, you guys, I get people in a room and I simulate the unfairness that comes with being, I don't know, I just randomly pick a group, maybe brown hair, maybe black hair, maybe, I don't know, maybe blondes. I randomly pick a group and I innocently, gaslighting the entire time, I say, all right, we're going to play a game. And what we do is I give everyone some paper and they have to stay in their seats. Of course, I seat them where I want them seated. And what I do is I say, okay, everyone, you get a piece of candy if you land your paper, wad it up. And it's like a basketball game. And what happens is some people are special and maybe their parents were wealthy. And so they get like more paper to try. And maybe some people, I don't know, it looks like they might have stole something. Maybe I had a stack sitting over there and they have more than they should. So they get escorted out. They don't even get a chance to try. And basically I simulate the whole thing. And it's quite an experience. It leaves people with their heads spinning. And then we talk about it. So it's really interesting. Let me just back up. Okay, I want to get everybody. Oh, thanks, Dave. You're so sweet. Thank you, Bakari. You guys are really sweet. Emirate. Yang Gang. Oh, you like him? Yeah, I like him a lot. He's interesting. Joshua. Okay. My grandma Sylvia Perlman. She was rich and then she blew it. Switched religion in the 90s and then bugged me for another 10 years about how what's mud people need to die so we can take back? Mud people? Wow. I don't really know. I'm assuming mud people, she's trying to, that's some sort of derogatory. I don't know okay, I got a little confession. My parents didn't teach me derogatory racial slurs, so I'm assuming that's one of them. Excuse my naivete, but so you have sampling of one, Joshua, a grandma Sylvia Perlman, who basically kind of jaded you a little bit. Tell me more. This can be kind of a therapeutic time. Okay, tell me more, because that's, but sampling of one is really tough in a system because it's a system. It's kind of everybody adds to it. So your own personal individual experience, while absolutely real, let me put it this way. If somebody calls you the N-word, that's rotten and that's horrible and it's nasty and it's cruel and it's really messed up. But that in and of itself isn't going to keep you from a job. It's not going to keep you from, it might if your self-esteem goes, I'm talking directly. But if that person happens to call you that as your boss, it sure as hell will. And that's part of the system, the power system. White folks have it and other folks don't. And that's kind of a way to look at it. Oh my goodness. Let me just back up. So that was Grandma. Doctor, thank you. Okay, some of the stuff I'm reading, I'm not really sure what to say. Hammer, my wife's son taught me all I know about racism. Right? Joshua, I told her to wait. Okay, doctor, as a Black female, I'm wondering when will our 40 acres in a cow? Yeah. Interesting. When I think about that, it's like that is one lie after another, after another, after another, that we as a society, I'm not blaming any one white person, chose to uphold as a vicious, sick, fucked up lie. And it's disgusting. But it's like, there's been so many other abuses. I consider systemic racism to be a crime against humanity. No, not happening in one day, but over time, a crime against humanity, just like enslavement of human beings is. This one's just slower. That's all. I consider it an extension, like the 13th Amendment. A lot of people, they might know now, the 13th Amendment does not ban all slavery. If you're imprisoned, you can be a slave. Just ask some of our corporate people in America who does their work for them. And I mean, it's disgusting how many businesses actually take advantage of that. And I hope they're outed. If you are a criminal, slavery is not illegal. So I don't want to get into the details, but this nation's a young nation. We got a lot of growing up to do, but it might be too late. Greed is not a good thing. Dave, you have to come to the Schenectady Women's March this Saturday at 11. A very diverse crowd. If you make it, it would be great to see. You know what, Dave, you are so sweet to invite me. I would love to do that, and I'd love to do video interviews. I love video interviews. If you want to see me scared shitless, you have to see this interview I did on my YouTube channel. I dropped my kid off at a birthday party, and I'm like, what do I do for 2 hours? Because she's like, this is a long time ago. I wanna just be a big girl. So I'm like, okay. So I saw a little Trump rally, and I went and interviewed them, and it was just breaking up. It was a lot smaller when I got there, but dang, that was crazy. That was just crazy. And I didn't go there to hurt people or be mean. I wanted to know why would they, okay, I'm just going to say it. I wanted to know why they would sell their freaking souls at the chance of a few extra bucks and do this to their fellow humans. I just wanted to know what could you get with a few extra bucks that would be worth taking away the civil and human rights of your fellow humans. I just wanted to know. I did not find my answers. Nevertheless, I did not find my answers. But yeah, I would like to do interviews, Dave, definitely, if they would do it. Shalom, God bless you, and God bless USA and Israel. Well, thank you. And oh my gosh, I got to the bottom, I think. You know what? I think I skipped Pat. Hi, Pat, if you're here. There's so many people on here. Okay, let me just back it up here. Front, hello. Yes, hello, Pat. Hello, Leslie. Okay. Let me just back it up. Bakari says, I have been, unfortunately. Maybe tell me more, because, of course, I keep blabbing in. I'm not sure. Thank you, Orsurus. Is my saying that right? Dave, the U.S. was not really the first democracy in the world. I never thought we really were, because we are the only country where popular vote doesn't decide elections. Well, it's questionable. I think what made us special at the time was that, okay, this is going to sound strange. The idea that people can have control for the people, of the people, and not control was from God and not the authorities like kings and queens, was supposedly quite different for our Constitution. So that's like the one that we'd actually be able to self-govern, and we have God-given rights. So it's a long story. But Chef, what human rights? I can maybe make a list for you. But right now I kind of can't get into it, but I'll make a list for you if you get a hold of me another time. It's a long list. Okay. Leslie, Kim, they don't care as long as they're on the team, they will still reap the benefits. Yeah. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't get it because it's almost like a false economy, believing that short-term benefits are going to get you somewhere. We're all being screwed by the ultra wealthy, okay? And that some of us white folks don't get that is just really sad, because Black, brown, indigenous, Israelites, Hebrew people, no, they're not the enemy. They are not the ones keeping you down. It is the wealthiest elite who want to make sure we never unite with them and see who the real culprit is. Our nation, the last 50 years, oh my God, it has changed so drastically. That's sad. I hate to think people don't care, but I know some people don't. But let me see. Dave, I remember that interview. You never did one after the creep got in the White House, did you? You know what? The guy said he was going to come kill me, so no. I didn't do another one. He actually got a hold of me and said that, and so I was like, okay, I'm out. But no, I do interviews still. I just don't. I don't drop in on Trump rallies anymore, I guess you could say. I learned my lesson. Stevie, thank you for being here. Sweet. Bakari, speaking of the human warehouse known to many as a prison. Yeah, it's disgusting. Nitro Fury. How do we fix institutional racism? What defines it? That's a great question. I don't know how to fix it, but I certainly know what helps. And it's called education. And knowing our real racial history helps give a historical perspective to the problems we have now. Right now, most white folks do not know our real racial history. It makes them open to propaganda, figuring it out themselves. We're uneducated. We're ignorant about our own racial history. And we kind of like it that way. And traveling the world is also a great way. There are only 2 proven ways to lower racism. One is traveling the world. In other words, otherwise known as making a really close friend that's not white like you. Does wonders, because all of a sudden you realize they're humans just like you. But right now, 3 out of 4 or 75% of all white folks do not have a single, and I'm talking about adults, a single close friend who's not white. So we don't know and we don't get it. But it's education about the truth about our real racial history and why. Like, if you don't know about redlining, then you don't understand why many families were unable to accumulate wealth if you don't get what was done to them in the past. So I hope that's kind of explaining it. Let me see. Goodness. Trying to find the spot. Okay, got it. Just bear with me. Chef, thanks. Okay, I'm not sure who you're talking to, but I hope it's me. Just kidding. Pat, you have to fix what started the racism in the first place. Yeah, and a lot of people feel, Pat, that's a great, hi, Pat, thank you for being here. I think a lot of people think that the extent of racism we have is just a part of life and it's always going to be here. And I call bullshit on that. That's a very convenient way to keep it. Now, technology gets better and better. Certainly we're not doubling our, ability to be human every 7 years, like maybe technology. I don't know if that's still true, but so they used to say in the olden days, technology is surpassing our humanity exponentially. And it seems like we can't keep up. We're not keeping up. We're still rotten to our fellow humans. Here's the bottom line. We're on this planet for, let's say, what's the life expectancy here? 70 to 80 something years, right? Let's just say we are a grain of freaking sand. And we think we're so important that, we have to just get everything we want to get and do everything. How about give a shit about our fellow humans while we're here? Our self-importance is what's it's ignorance and arrogance and selfishness. This nation especially has the ability to allow everybody to live at a certain lifestyle. Yet the homeless issues we have with people, there are people who have master's degrees who are homeless. I mean, this nation's going down. And until we get educated and realize we have enough, it's the distribution of it that is absolutely skewed, we're going to be screwed. So I'm just saying. Okay. Thank you, Pat, for that lovely, okay. AC, when did you wake up, so to speak? Oh, it's kind of funny. It's a long story, a little bit of a long story, so I won't bore you, but I just was 6 years old and I was looking around and I was like, okay, something's not quite right here. And I didn't know what it was. And all the white people were pretending there was no problem. And I thought maybe I imagined it, but I saw it. I saw that I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was called. This is how young I was. I didn't even know like what a Black person was. I just thought it was a person. You have to be taught, to hate. And I was too out of it to, I didn't really socialize. So I didn't understand why. And then when I was 12, I had a boyfriend and he was Japanese, Hawaiian, first generation. And his parents hated me. And I was like, why do they hate me? They don't even know me. I was a naive idiot, basically. And he tried to teach me, but I didn't get it. And then when I was 18, I'm just putting it in a nutshell, I went to school and I learned about Jane Elliott. And I was like, oh my God, you see, I knew it. I knew there was something to this. And I was raised in the era of colorblindness. I don't see color, so I couldn't take it. It was always that's kind of how I figured it out. I had to know. And when I was 13, I started writing for my school newspaper about equality and all this stuff. And I didn't know a thing about it, but so yeah, I don't want to go on and on about me, but thank you for asking. And ever since, I learned something every day. Ryan, the truth is that it makes absolutely no difference who is in the White House. The American empire is in increasing rapid decline, and no puppet that we vote for will reverse it. Ryan, I think you might be right. I think you might be right, actually. I'm just not willing to give up. I mean, I'm just not willing to hope for me is the strongest emotion, and I'm not willing to give up. I don't know what to say. So, but yeah, I think you might be right. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if not. Nitro or something like that. What does real racial history mean? It simply means history that's not whitewashed, that what happened in the Devil's Punch Bowl. What happened in Black Wall Street. What happened with Black codes. How it re-enslaved people. You understand the Rosewood, and you understand all these historical things that are part of our racial history. Most people don't know if those are at all. They know nothing. Most white folks, because I was just reading an article yesterday on the political ramifications of textbooks in schools. It's totally out of control. You literally have, in some states, you have a liberal textbook, which might have a chapter on Black folks when they were enslaved. Okay, they were here pretty much before all of us. So, it's every part of history is their history too. Yet we have a chapter. Okay, and the ones that don't have a chapter, and this was a couple of years back, and don't quote me, but it was in Texas. No offense, Texas, but go figure. They wouldn't call the Black folks who were taken, these humans were taken and enslaved, put into an enslaved status of non-human status. They called them immigrants. And it was a big deal. So real history is real history. It's not whitewashed history. It's our real history. And we don't talk about all those events. So people come out not knowing them. And then it makes them susceptible to the propaganda. And it makes them not understand why the problems we have today are based in history. So I hope that explains. A little over explanation there. Let me see. Let me just back it up. Oh my goodness. Let me just back it up. I apologize. It scrolls right through. Vernon, thank you for being here. If you're still here, it took a long time to get to you. It would take a massive education effort that the country would have to go through. Stop all this war of northern aggression, y'all, etc. Yeah, part of the thing is, if we really gave a shit about systemic racism, and I'm talking about white folks in general, not everybody, we'd have incredible education from pre-K to 12th grade. And it could be amazing. And we could be the nation that we talk about being. But the power, I'm telling you, the wealthiest elite won't have it. They need us to hate. Because then we're doing our little hating as they take our money. So, and a great book is Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. Great, really hard to read. Not that it's difficult language, but it's devastating. She doesn't mince words, but that's a great starter book. And my friend Nails and Glitter has a book that she really likes on white privilege. And if that's somebody was asking that, I'm not sure who. Thank you, Vernon, for your comments. Psyched you're here. Let me see here. That was the AC. This is the book. Let me see. Tony, hello. Thanks for being here. Sean, if most people knew about Bacon's Rebellion, 1676, most people would begin to see how race has obscured class oppression. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. And it's not any one event. It's the system of events. And obviously, economics, there's privilege, white privilege, there's economic privilege, there's skinny privilege, there's a gazillion types of privileges. It's very complicated. White privilege is just one of them. And wealth and economic privilege is huge. Look how we treat people who are impoverished in this country like they deserve it. But here's the problem. You can be the wealthiest Black African American or, indigenous person or a person of mixed heritage, and you can still be killed by police because you're Black. And they don't care how much money you have. It's kind of a crazy thing. We got issues in this country, so we got issues. But a lot of folks don't want to educate themselves enough to help and make it stop. It shouldn't be a crime to be homeless. It shouldn't be a crime to not be able to get a job. We're supposed to be the richest country in the world, the best country in the world. We need to start acting like it. Best practices, not just yakking away about how great we are, but actually do better and try to form a more perfect union, like our founding fathers said. Okay. Hi, Pat. Thanks for being here. Yay. Nitro Fury, what are your thoughts on the Industrial Revolution? Would you agree that it and its consequences have been a disaster for humanity? I am very careful not to make a comment on things that I am not, have fairly decent knowledge about. And on some levels, I would say yes, but to be honest, I don't know enough about the topic to be able to make a definitive, this is what I think, and I'm not extreme on that because I don't know enough about it. I'm one of those weird people who actually, unless I feel like I really, really know about something, I don't like to espouse an opinion on it because I think I don't have a PhD in it. I haven't read articles on that in a long time. But thank you for asking. That's not something that and then it's kind of funny because maybe I know more than most people, but I'm still not willing to give out my opinion because I'm still ignorant with that. I have kind of like high expectations so let me see. But thank you for asking. Logisticon. Dang, I like that. An economic system is a moral system. All economies are planned. AC, what is your opinion on the slave trade currently going on in Libya? Oh my God, it's disgusting. I have a video up on it. It's unconscionable. It's terrifying. But yeah, that's like it's my emotional opinion. But Ryan, there are open slave markets in Libya as we speak. Africans are being sold for labor and sex. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Oh God, I did a video on it a long time ago. It couldn't be that long ago, like a couple of years ago, I think. I can't remember, but it's let's just say as technology is ever increasing, our ability to be human does not seem to be following suit. And that's an understatement. I don't get it. Why we can't treat our fellow humans like they matter. I honestly don't get it. And I never will. I gave up trying to find out. Great questions, though. Let me see. We love Israel, don't we, folks? Okay. Don Ho Records. I was like an out of it kid. Maybe. I know I had Hawaiian bread. I still have it. It's really yummy. But yeah, I don't know. That's funny. I do not know. Mr. FS Black, hello. That last comment was nothing. Okay, I didn't see your last. Wait. Oh, there it is. I scrolled too far. Thank you. Read Anne Frank's The Diary of Anne Frank. There's a good book. Logisticon. Tammy Rice was 13. He was a child. He was a child. He was a little boy. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I'm just scrolling because the thing goes wee. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm back. Hi, Mr. Evans Black. Hello. Joshua, I do not like Israel. Okay. Logisticon, greatest ally. Okay. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but it's good. Nobody who were the people that ran the slave trade shipping industry. Oh, nobody says. Who are the people that ran the slave trade shipping industry then? Are you asking about history? If you want to know, you can look it up, and there's a lot of ways to learn that answer. Oh, cynic, why delete so much? Because we're here to get educated and educate, not to be goofy and try to be a troll or whatever. So if you're not here to, seriously try to learn or try to educate, it's kind of a waste of time for folks. So I'm trying to run a YouTube channel here. So that's why. Sorry, I hope that makes sense. Osiris. Okay. As a Jewish person myself, I hope Warren apologizes for accusing Bernie of lying. Yeah, on that issue, what do you guys think? I think it was kind of a non-issue. I don't care if he said it or not. Who cares, personally? But that's just my opinion. Maybe that's what he thought at the time. Maybe it's not. I don't give a shit. It's one person's opinion. I think a really big deal was made out of nothing with that. They were friends, and they still are friends. It's, but I guess some people are very upset about that, but it does not faze me. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't. Vernon, that's why we have so much ignorance, because people don't know the history. We just don't like to tell the truth. Yeah, it's like some big secret. So we got, and a lot of white folks, I understand a little bit about why they want to not talk about it. They've been lied to by their parents. They've been lied to by their grandparents. They've been lied to by their history books. They've been lied to by their teachers and society. We've been played the fool. It's hard to admit that we've been screwed over and played the fool to go against our own best interest. Maybe not in the short amount, but absolutely in the long run. Systemic racism isn't good for all folks. The masses of white people, no. It's just an illusion. But as long as we keep believing it, thanks, Vernon. Vernon, great book. Yeah. Ryan, look up the history of the B'nai B'rith organization if you want to learn about one of the greatest atrocities ever committed against an African American. Okay, I will. I have 4 videos coming out. And the reason I have 4 is because whenever I learn something new in history that I didn't know about personally, like I had no clue, I write it down, put it to the side, and I research it like crazy. And I have 4 videos worth of those things. I learn something new every day. It might not be a huge historical thing, but oh my God, I do learn something every day about our racial history and what we have chosen to, push away and chosen to not talk about and chosen to pretend doesn't exist. I don't think white folks understand the depth of the hatred. If you really, research, it's terrifying. I mean, they used to take their kids to these lynchings and they'd have invitations. I mean, they'd get souvenirs. I mean, it's just so fucked up. It's not even funny. We need to know that. We can't just say, oh, maybe one person was like, no, this was some sick shit. This is probably the sickest shit you've ever heard in your life. And the fact that we don't even know, let alone the real details, lets us go about our lovely little life, not giving a crap. Read the diary of Anne Frank. It's really sad. Mr. F.S. Black, chattel slavery was heavily practiced by Europeans, of course. The French, Spanish, and the British were shipping slaves into the Caribbean, while the Dutch infamously brought slaves to North America. Yeah, right. It didn't start with us, but a lot of people think, I was reading this scholarly article, a lot of people now believe, and I don't know if this is true, I have no idea, that one of the reasons we wanted to split from England had to do with their progressive ideas about ending slavery and us going, that's not gonna be good for us. So, I mean, this stuff's crazy. You could go a lifetime and never learn it all. Okay. Who ran the slave trade at its height? I get the feeling you want to tell me. I'm not really on a quiz show here, but I'm sure you have an idea in mind. I'm just guessing. Is she one of those fellow white people? I'm not sure if I'm one of those fellow white people. I'm not really sure. I don't really have any allegiance to anybody, because white it's the amount of active melanin in your body. It's not like the whole black people white thing. We made all that up. That's just for being, so we can be rotten to our fellow humans. We're all the same race. There's no like how tan you are, how dark you are, how that has to do with it's a long story. I have a video on it, but there really aren't white people or black people. We're people. But the labels are just, mostly for hate. But unfortunately, they're used pragmatically, and so we use them. Otherwise, how are you going to explain things? Okay. Right. Okay. Let me just. Oh goodness. So Matt, you'll have to elaborate on that, and I will be able to tell you. Okay. Joshua, Spain. Thank you. Young, where's Epstein? Okay. Let me see. Young says no. Young says 0. No, that's a face. I don't know. Okay. David Farley. Sorry, I'm like, oh, okay. David, it is truly tragic that after all the progress we've made on race relations, we end up with Trump. If he gets a second term, America's finished. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it might be finished even if he doesn't. I never thought America was like just, oh my gosh, we're the leader in, but I always thought we were like a snail, headed in the right direction, but like a snail, very slow. But now I have to credit him. And I don't mean credit him like I love it. I mean, give him credit. He outdid himself. Trump has outdone himself. He's taken 50 years. Hell, he's trying to take us back 100. It's insane. Really sad, but nice comment. Yeah, I'm really afraid for our democratic republic. Let me just scroll down, and then we can get started with comments on, oh, what's my opinion on post-apartheid South Africa? That's a lot to talk about, but definitely a good question. Yeah, I'm not an expert in that at all. I mean, remotely, I've read a few articles here and there, and obviously I know a bit about it, but yeah, there's some scary stuff going on. Pat, lots of trolls for some reason. Yeah. Ghost Killer, hello. Thanks for being here if you're still here. Nails and Glitter, please don't feed the trolls, right? In my honest opinion, he's taken us back 100 years. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. I hit the bottom. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone who is here, who's legitimately trying to converse. I wanted to actually get into some topics. A quick, Jay, hello. Tim Weiss. Tim Weiss is here. No, the real Tim Weiss? That would be cool. I love him. Or is it someone being silly? Let me see. I lost my spot. Sorry about that. Okay. I have absolutely lost my spot. I apologize. Okay. That's why it's gone. Okay. I wish it was Tim Weiss. Hi, Matt. If you're pretending to be Tim. Okay. So I wanted to just jump into one of the topics that we're onto, and then I'll get back to comments and questions and all that stuff. Let me see. The murder of General Soleimani. This guy, anyone could have probably tried to have him killed, but other presidents didn't. He hasn't always been the arch enemy, and it's kind of interesting that a large number of legal scholars and attorneys believe that Trump's order to kill him actually constitutes an act of war. And this is just from other people. This is not my opinion. On January 9th, 2020, the House of Representatives passed a war powers resolution that would limit the president's ability to pursue military action against Iran unless he had congressional consent. And like we talked about last week, most sane people and some not so sane people believe that this murder was simply an attempt to start a war. Because as many of you know, that diversionary war theory, which basically says leaders who are threatened by domestic turmoil will occasionally initiate international conflict in order to shift, it's kind of Trump's MO to put up an issue to divert people's attention to international conflict. It's just in order to take attention away from the problems. And he's very good at that. And so it is not a total surprise to me that within the last 24 hours, it looks like the Senate as well have the numbers to pass the resolution to restrict his ability to start a war on purpose for no other reason than to, if we're winning, you know how it goes. It's the theory, and kind of worked every time. A lot of people are speculating that it was the ever-changing list of phony excuses that the Trump administration came up with about why they had the need to kill this guy now, that kind of people are kind of turning on him. They really are. Not as much as one would think, but I don't think that they want their constituents to know that they were involved in allowing a war to start. I think that they're pretty desperate to get reelected. I'm just guessing. Personally, I don't care the reason the Senate, the Republicans chose to act in our nation's interest. I don't give a shit. I'm just glad they did. I don't know why this. I don't know. I'm hoping that this apparent fissure in the Republican Party, Congress, is a hint to the upcoming impeachment hearings happening in the Senate, because the man's out of control. He's got to be stopped. I mean, I understand this whole allegiance to the party, but there comes a time when just it's not about politics anymore. And I think party excuse is oftentimes used as just, a good excuse to have gross abuses to our fellow humans. It's kind of like my religion says that, it's the whole thing about like the Tea Party. Oh, we're Christians. Well, you know what? No, you're not. Not if you use your religion to do evil, cruel, screwed up things to people. You're fake Christians. And it goes with any religion. Every religion has its people who are such cowards that they will use, it's my religion. My religion's telling me to be an asshole. Okay, I just don't buy it. It's sorry, just my opinion. If that's what you use your religion for, then that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. We need to start acting human. We were given this amazing gift of reason. And we're not always perfect with our reason, of critical thinking, doing all these cool things that animals generally can't do. The animals, we have this. Well, let's use it and actually think. And thinking hurts. It's painful, but do it anyway, because our fellow humans are being abused. And I just don't get why we can't be good to others. We're just here for such a short period of time. Anyway, I'm blabbing on. I just don't get it. Do I not like what Trump does? Absolutely. I think he's inhumane. I think he's absolutely overtly racist, absolutely misogynist. I could just go on and bigoted. Absolutely. What would I do if he was hanging off a cliff about to die? Of course I would save him. See, this isn't hatred. This is just sadness for him and for the people that he impacts. I would never harm him. Not in a million years. See, it's not like that. And a lot of people, would you drop him off a cliff? I'm like, no. I'm not going to let him set my standards for being an asshole. No. I think he needs help. And his family's doing him no service by just being a co to him. But anyway, let me continue blabbing. We need to start acting humane. We have this gift. Let's use it. If you get afraid, scared, upset, sad, you can have an emotion, but not act on it right away because you have this instinct you must. We have this cool thing called thinking, and we can control ourselves. So we should use our gift and stop being rotten to our fellow humans. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not really holding my breath here that anyone's going to do that, but there's certain things that just need to be the premise before you support anyone. Like I tell people, this isn't about politics for me. I'm not even a Democrat or a Republican. I'm independent, and I'd be nothing if I could. But I'm a humanist, and there's some cruel stuff going on here in our nation. You don't need me to tell you. if it's inhumane, I don't care what side you're on. That's ridiculous. I don't care what your politics are. Some things matter more than politics. And I say that for, I mean, anything. So, but in my opinion, if Trump gets off with his reckless, callous, demented policies and his behavior, I think we say bye-bye to any semblance of a democratic republic. I think it might be too late now. So let me go back and read. Oh my gosh, this is scary. People are talking, and I'm really glad. But let me see. Okay. A lot of silly guys out tonight. A lot. Okay, I just have to catch up. Wow, I rescrolled. Okay, 1 second. Charles, 324,000 blacks killed in black-on-black crime in the last 35 years. Why does the media ignore this? Well, let me explain. And that's a great question. What happens is, and you have to go to really good sources and check them like 2, 3, 4 times. You can't just like watch Fox News or something like that. Don't just watch Fox News, okay? Because they are not bound by the fairness doctrine. And they really take advantage of it. There's nothing fair about their news. Okay, what I'm trying to explain is this. People tend to commit crimes in the area they live and work. And unfortunately, right now, the United States overall is in pre-64 segregation. So there's really no such thing as black-on-black crime, because it's pretty close to white-on-white crime, what it is. It's just we do crimes in the areas that we live. I hope that explains. And so we don't talk about white-on-white crime either. So we have systemic racism, and yes, all crime in general, it would be really cool if we would stop killing each other and hurting each other. But black-on-black crime is just a racist talking point that people use to divert us from the real issue of systemic racism. It's used all the time. I mean, I think that's kind of the only time it's used. Actually, I've never heard it actually. Well, no, I've read articles that are actually talking about the Black community and what they want to do and this and that. But if we're going to do that, we should talk about the white community and white-on-white crime too. All right, because it's a propaganda piece. Let me see. I hope I explained that right. Okay. Let me see. Mr. Affleck, I've given Tim Weiss the side eye ever since his disrespect towards Dr. Francis Cress Wesseling. I don't follow him religiously. Sorry for the use of the word religious. I do not follow him religiously. I've honestly seen about a dozen of his talks. And in general, I like him. But I am not familiar with that, so I can't really comment on it. But if you want to tell us more, I will absolutely read it. Thank you, Mr. F.S. Black. Let me see. Joshua, okay, quick history lesson. What's the difference between a slave in Rome, BC, to a slave in La Plata, aka Chile, Uruguay, some of parts of Brazil and Argentina, 1750, add one was cattle and one was free at 30. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what you're saying. Excuse my, inability, but I think what you might be saying is that not all slavery is created equal. And chattel slavery is a whole nother ballgame. I think that's what you might be saying, but I don't want to speak for you and get it wrong. Nails and glitter. Teen white girl wants attention, but still a little wuss. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Teach me. I don't get it. I'm so bad. Mike Boy, have you ever been in an interracial relationship? No. I mean, my boyfriend when I was 12, if that counts. I didn't know he was interracial because I didn't know about that stuff. I was 12. But no, I've never been in an interracial. Like, I've had friends that are not like ghost white like me, but no, nope, never. Just not for any reason. Just, I don't know. I haven't. Yes, one person asked me once, do you love all black men? I'm like, seriously? I don't know all black men. How would I? That's crazy. I don't love all of anybody. But yeah, no, nope, never. Joshua, it was bad though. Didn't want to go. It was bad though. Didn't want to go to the salt mine. Not sure what you're referring. Maybe you're referring. Okay. Slavery is bad no matter how long the servitude. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you guys, once we're talking a certain like taking of somebody's freedom and ability to do what they want, I mean, it's like there comes a certain point where it's just screwed up. I can't stand when people try to compare atrocities, crimes against humanity are really, that's a tough thing to compare them because they're all so unique and so different. We just got to not deny people their pain and try not to like divert it to, white folks often do this. Let's talk about us. It's like, that's not good because it's not our time to talk about us. Sometimes it'll be time to talk about us, but this is not the time. So oftentimes we are so uncomfortable that we kind of make it about us, like white fragility and things like that. There's nothing to be fragile about. We didn't do this history. This is just history, like your history teacher teaches you in class. But now that we are here, and now that we are getting it and learning about it, God forbid we actually give a shit. White people aren't the saviors. Black folks, brown folks, people who are non-white, they're going to save themselves because they already are. They do not need us. We're not heroes. But I don't care what shade you are. If somebody's doing something horrific to you in a systematic way, I'm going to try to make a difference and try. Maybe I won't, but I'll try. It's just, for me, that's just being human. I don't know. Nails and glitter, I'm dying to know what you're saying. I'm so bad. Absolutely. Servitude. Mike, that's personal. Uh-oh. Oh, Pat, personal. Oh, yeah. No, it's okay. These guys are silly. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I probably wouldn't take it much further, but yeah, no. People always ask me goofy things like that. I'm very open, but thank you, Pat. Slash, how do you feel about reparations for slavery? Slash, I have a lot of strong feelings about reparations for slavery. Unfortunately, it's not my place. That's out of my lane. As a white person, it's not my place to say. It's just not. I mean, I have opinions, but it's not my place. I try to echo the voices of, of various people who were impacted by that. It's a really loaded topic. Whenever I talk about it on here, oh my God, so many people jump in. They go nuts because they take it all personally, and it's not personal. I have a lot of strong feelings about it, but maybe not too many people know what I really think. You could probably guess. Maybe not actually. So yeah, I don't talk about what I think because you know what? Who cares what I think about it? I'm a white person. It's not my place. I do listen to other people, what they have to say, for sure. Thank you for that question, though. It's always a good question. Even Judaism. Maybe. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but probably. Neil, hello. Thank you for being here. Neil is my sweet, amazing, brilliant helper that teaches me a lot. And I'm so thankful to him and the people who educate me. I learn something from mentors every day, and it's awesome. Thanks for being here, Neil. Does reverse racism exist? Good question. No, not in the systemic form. I mean, somebody can be rotten to you, and like, let's say if you're in a room and you're the only white person and they're mean to you, but that's personal racism. On a systemic level, not a chance. No, because you see, it's a system that has a power base. Okay. And right now, the Caucasians, or I don't know what people call us, white, have the power. So on individual levels, people can be, doing things that are just because they're white, maybe, but as a system, no. And that's what I talk about. I talk about systemic racism. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, no, that's just another way to, see, here's the thing. I'm just going to say it. Most white folks are used to kind of being like all that, I guess you could say. And we're not used to shutting up and listening and humbling ourselves a little. And if you're going to learn about your own racial history and you're a white person in America, you're going to get humbled. Okay? You're going to. And you got to take a few slices of that pie, maybe just the whole pie. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who have like really bad, like, issues with their self-image. And, because it's not about us. That's the problem. It's not about us. And that's a really hard thing to grasp. It just really is. Really tough thing to grasp. So we do a lot of things to try to like make it so like it doesn't make us look bad, but it's not us. It's a system. So we don't have to be all sad about it. It's a system. Okay. Say that over and over again. Let me see. I'm just scrolling back. I apologize. This thing is crazy. I'm very thankful to have so many people here. Hopefully people that want to be involved in a meaningful way. I know you're working the moderator like crazy. Let me see. Pat says, Mike Boyd, what does it matter? And I could go back to Mike Boyd's. Did I miss that? Let me see. Not sure. All right. All righty then. Oh my goodness, we have a lot of people being silly on here. Corinne, mods deleting a lot of comments. They were valid questions. I'm trying to do this, the talk show, the live show. And so I trust her, what she's doing, what we want. She knows what she's doing. She's a professional. Okay. She really is. Because the thing is, there are a lot of people here who actually want to take part in this. And folks that are just here to be goofs, I mean, it's funny, kind of. Well, it's interesting to me. I'm kind of a sociologist at heart. I find it really interesting. It doesn't bother me in the least. But it bothers me in that it's bothering people who actually want to have a serious show. So I trust her absolutely. She's helping me. And if she does delete somebody's comment that might have been okay, she's kind of under a lot of pressure here. Look how much she has to do. We have a lot of trolls here tonight. Dang. So yeah, sorry about that if she deleted something that you felt was valid. It's her call, and I believe in her. Thank you. Goodness gracious. Wolfgang, hello. Thanks for being here. Goodness. What are your thoughts on Trump and the Iran situation? Well, actually, I don't know if you just got here. I just did a whole segment on that. And I am really, really, really happy that the Republican Party is actually following suit in Congress with stopping his ability to cause a war on purpose. The authorization of losing my stuff. The resolution to restrict his power to start a war. I mean, the whole thing's just so obvious. It's so cliche. But yeah, I have a lot of strong feelings on that. war is racist, okay? And it makes money for the wealthiest people, and it murders the masses' children. So it's sick shit. That's how I feel. hope that answers. Okay. Gary, thank you for being here. It's a little crazy, but I am very happy you're here. Let me see. And you know what? If there are folks out there who feel really slighted by getting, booted off kind of their voice, it's not, this show's not meant to be a debate. It's meant to be a discussion with like-minded people. So maybe it's the wrong show for you. But if you do want to debate, go on my videos and put comments. And as long as they're not nasty and out of control and, as long as you don't put sick shit, I'll answer back. Okay? I will. I'm not like an ogre. I'll answer back. But if you put sick stuff, I don't even put it through because I don't have like a lot of time because I actually work almost full time. So I don't have a lot of time to be like looking at like, do you like black men? It's like, give me a break, stuff like that. But if it's a decent question or really like from the heart, absolutely I'll answer. Let me see here. I'm happy you're here, Gary. Pat, there were nowhere in history that slaves have been treated like the slaves of the slave trade. It was the worst. Right. Chattel slavery is considered the most barbaric and unconscionable. Yep, that's the truth. The Haguma, I don't know what that means. Thoughts on Israel occupation of Palestine? Oh boy, do I have thoughts on that. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I want to get into it, but if you go on my Angry Soccer Mom Facebook page, write to me and we'll chat, okay? Let me see. Thoughts on Israel? But this is a good question. Morgan, I think my question might have slipped through the cracks. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I skip you? Do you believe morality to be objective or subjective? That's a really good question. I don't believe in religious-based morality. Boy, that is a really good question. I believe there are certain mores and ways that human evolution has developed that would make some things objective and some things subjective. To be honest, a little of both. I'm not an extremist like that. I think there's a little bit of both. I just expect more from my fellow humans. I just do. And that's a good thing. Like a lot of folks will go like, oh, you just hate white people. It's like, no, the opposite. I believe in white people. I believe we can do better than this. We can use the fact that we have critical thinking skills, the ability. Okay. We're in the dark. My dog just hit the lights. Sorry, that was weird. I believe in us. So, but anyway, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. My lights person's messing up here. Thanks. Yeah, sorry, Morgan. I didn't mean to skip you. I just it's kind of writing all over the place. Oops. Okay. Ghost Killer. All these incels in the comment section shake my head. Wait, incels, aren't those people who want to have sex but they can't find someone to have? Okay, sorry. That is even. I'm learning. Yeah, no, these there's a lot of people who just aren't on topic. For sure. Sorry, I know it's kind of distracting to people. Let me see. Morgan, you are a philosopher. What is your defining line as to what is objective to all people? How does something qualify? I'm not sure. I have to kind of think about that. I've never really mapped it out. I'm not sure. There's definitely, it's hard to explain because I haven't given it the amount of thought that would be necessary to answer a question in such a short period of time. But I'm more than happy to think about it. So go on to my site and where you can message me privately and definitely try to get into it with you. Kind of philosophy. You sound like a philosopher. Good questions. ST, what do we have here? This is a live show called Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. We talk about racism, bigotry, and inequality, and we have very real discussions for the most part. And that's what it is. So, all right. Yeah, Ghost Killer. I'm sorry. They'll go soon. They'll go soon. They're having some fun. And I think it's kind of to be expected sometimes. But let's move on. And I appreciate all the comments that are really on target and actually real and kind of genuine, I guess you could say that. So the next topic I have, there's a lot of studies going on, and I'll go through this really fast because you guys can read about this, about Black teens who face racial discrimination. A very good study came out that I was reading, and basically research is finding that the average, and this is one study, but it was backed by some others, that 5 times a day on average, a Black teenager faces some sort of discrimination, whether it's the lowest level, implicit bias, to overt, ludicrous, like total crap. That's, oh my God, please. Okay. So researchers have found that being the target of daily discrimination has led to depression in these teens. And I don't think that's rocket science. Exactly. It's, how would you like to be discriminated against continuously? I think you'd get depressed. So I get that. Let me see. This study, I like to use Rutgers University because I find them to be pretty reliable. They found that Black teenagers in the United States face discrimination multiple times a day. And this is teens, not tweens, not little kids, mostly online, because supposedly the kids who are Black children that are teens, adolescents, they go on more often. I did not realize that when I was reading the thing. They are on a little bit more often than other groups of people. So what the study said is that Black adolescents are forced to deal with microaggressions on a daily basis. And the study expands the research that how discrimination happens, whether it's teasing. There's a lot of research being done on this. This is not a new science. This has been, people have had their PhDs in this stuff forever because, it's really, it's prevalent. The way a lot of, racial teasing, the way a lot of racial discrimination occurs online and in person for teens is through joking, teasing by peers. Peers will be asked to speak for their racial group. You're the Black person. Tell us what all the Blacks think. Something like that. An example, a Black teen might see, something racist online multiple times a day, and the author is really into delving into this, and I think it's worthwhile. It was concluded, and I'm not that surprised, that the internet's a major source of discriminatory behavior directed towards Black youth, and because they also spend more time on there than other supposed races or ethnicities. So the internet, it's been found to be a strong source of discrimination due to, and this isn't rocket science, but people did a science, a research, legit research study, and it's worth thinking about. That the anonymity, and lack of consequences for behavior that's obnoxious, and that in person, you'd be like, F off. You would never put up with that crap. But online, it is very easy to get away with. And I guess for people who feel like they have to put down others to make themselves feel better, I guess it's kind of like a fun platform to do that. So people get away with it, but they would never see that in person. They'd think it, and that's really sad. But in person, they'd be wimps. So a lot of people who do that are just bullies. or really, really insecure people. And then there's a percentage who actually believe the stuff. They believe that being born white makes them superior, and that is terrifying. But there's 100 reasons why people do this. Racial teasing is important because, according to the study, it's one of the most common ways adolescents communicate about race. They don't just go, let's talk about systemic racism. They're like, hey, and they kind of screw around. And there's a lot of teasing can be very harmful. So the researchers say that we need more developmentally appropriate ways to research and talk to youth about this subject. That's all kind of obvious. And they found, whoa, sorry about that. Just scroll down. They find that racial discrimination is a factor in health in inequalities among Black people in general, this is all kind of duh, right? This is all obvious. People make you feel bad about yourself long enough, it's not healthy mentally and physically. So the next topic I want to talk about is the Virginia, January 20th. The Virginia rally, and it's apparently, and I'll go over some comments, but I wanted to talk about that because they've already called a state of emergency. The governor has. And if you missed that, it came out, I don't know when that came out. Was that today or yesterday? But anyway, so it's the 20th, this protest is occurring. And I'll tell you in a minute. Let me read. Oh, I should mention, if you are honestly interested in learning or in supporting what I do, which is I talk about racism, if nothing else, so that people see a white person talking about racism, systemic racism. And I lived through it. I didn't kill me. I'm not, I make mistakes, but we got to start talking, white folks. We got to teach the other white folks the truth. Okay. And so that's why I do this. So, let me back up. Goodness gracious. These trolls are relentless. Okay. Dang. I'm going to have to pay that moderator extra. Oh, I think I caught up. Maybe. Oh, okay. No fake news, no trolls, snails, and glitter. Right. Verum, what do you think of the massive immigration in Europe and the U.S.? I don't think there's massive immigration to the, well, I mean, it's all relative. It depends if you've been following it. The immigration policies that we've had are vastly different than the immigration policies in Europe. I mean, I got the opportunity to read some and talk to a person who actually did that for a living, and he was able to explain the extreme differences, and there's no comparison. We don't have open borders and stuff like that. What do I think of it? I think it's a really tough situation. That whose answers are complex, really complex, but being hateful and racist and bigoted and cruel to our fellow humans, it's just not the answer. It can't be the answer. That's going backwards. So let me see here. Oh my goodness. The Hugoo Man. Thoughts on the JQ? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure, so I probably don't know what it is, even if I knew what the word, the letters stood for. I'm sorry. I'm definitely, if it has anything to do with pop culture, I know nothing. I do not follow pop culture at all, but I don't know. Wow, dang. Okay, I actually skipped some people. Pat asks, why is that important, Mike Boyd? I think I might have gotten a little too far Okay, I'm way behind. Oh, how does one define white if race is a social construct? It was defined where's Moppy? She has all the literature on that. It was defined a long time ago, and it's a really tough thing to define since race is a human construct, and how your skin comes out has to do with the melanin and the active, melanin in your skin, whether it's protecting you a ton. I mean, when you get freckles, that's melanin coming out. It's protecting you from the sun. So you get freckles from the sun if you're very pale. Your skin's going, hello, this is not good. So I'm not sure how to define it. It was defined for a purpose. And as any other ideology, it takes on a life of its own. I don't think it matters what I think it is. But it is used for good or for bad as a talking point so we can have a way to discuss the topic. So I hope that makes sense. And that's always changing. White people have the definitions changed over the years. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. If it is advantageous to the people in a majority group to have you white, all of a sudden you're white. It's a long story, but that's a good question. Oh, thoughts on, okay, did I even answer that? Thoughts on the occupation of, yeah, I did that. Okay, now I'm going back. Okay. Okay, I think I might have caught up here. Thoughts on the Crusades? No, don't have any. No, I'm over. Okay, good, because I don't want you to, Moppy, I don't want you to leave just because they'll go. Morgan, asking because the moral relativism seems to be the fountainhead for all of the issues you discuss, racism, bigotry. Yeah. I'm a humanist. Oh, Morgan, it's a great question. I love it. I'd love to chat with you. I'm a humanist, and I feel that most people, if they would allow themselves to feel their feelings and not be in the social construct of culture, we know how to act human. It's kind of in us. We know how to do that, and there obviously is a line where it crosses over. But we'll talk. I'm not sure. I'll definitely talk to you about that, though. It's interesting. Gary, you get trolls from the opposition when you're doing it right. Thank you. That's a nice compliment. Thanks. AC, as a white male, what can I do to help? That is the nicest thing to say. Oh my gosh. You know what? As white folks, educate ourselves and then educate other white people. And never do nothing while your fellow human is being abused. And you know what? You might feel like an idiot, and you might feel, even the person you're trying to help might be like, buzz off. But if your heart's in the right place, that's really all that matters. We can only do the best we can do. But if you educate yourself, oh my goodness, and be able to debunk all 30 of the cliche, basically they're classic, I can't say it's a tongue twister, classic cliche denials of systemic racism. And after that, just spread the knowledge, that you have, and teach people what you know, and be able to debunk things so that when it does come up, you'll know what to say and you don't have to think about it. Because sometimes it's kind of nerve-wracking when somebody says something really racist and you're like, whoa. So you kind of have to be planning ahead. That's a really, really nice thing to ask. And that's a person, whoever, I don't know if he's kidding or if he's not or whatever, or she, but it's a boy, sorry, a white male. That's called not being defensive. What can I do to help? That is awesome. And that's a great, just such a nice thing. Okay, TMJ. I work in a Black neighborhood. I had rocks thrown at me by Black teens today. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful. That's not good. That's actually really dangerous. I wonder why. I worked in Compton Unified School District during the LA riots. So I worked in a neighborhood that was pretty much, our whole school had like 3 white people in it, I think. When I was really young. That was in the olden days. But nobody ever threw rocks at me. Jeez. Why would being born make you superior? Yeah, I don't know. It's like ridiculous. And a lot of times when I get really feisty, I say, if being born white is the best thing you ever did in your life, dang, you got issues. No, you didn't do it. You had nothing to do with it. You were birthed and you really had zero control of that. So it doesn't. People are superior, in my opinion, when they have hearts of gold and are good to their fellow humans and don't have the need to hurt and harm and put people down. And that comes in every shade. So yeah, I don't really get that part either. I think maybe they're like kidding themselves. Like maybe they're fooling themselves. Maybe they just want to feel special. I'm not sure. I don't know. Steve, I just saw my friend Steve. Wait a second, now I missed it. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. Hi, coming in late. Saw Just Mercy, wonderful new film, true story based on Bryan Stevenson's great work. No spoilers from me. Recommend it. Great springboard to discuss systemic racism. Thank you. Steve is my friend from college. Thank you so much for saying hello. Who's your moderator? There are trolls, but this is a bit excessive. Yeah, AC, it is. I'm not sure what's going on, but this happened last night as well. And the trolls will probably go away once they realize that all they're doing is helping my YouTube channel to grow by being trolls. So maybe they'll be like, I don't want to do that, and they'll leave. But try to bear with me if you can. I think that there are a lot of people like you, AC, who I absolutely love having here. And if you can bear with me for a little bit. I'm not sure either. Oh, Valerie. No way. Hello. That's awesome. I have not. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Valerie's my friend. No way. This is getting crazy with all the trolls. I am so happy you're here. Wow. But yeah, AC, if you can bear with me. Valerie, jump on in. Okay. I'm so psyched to have you. Nails and glitter. Fake news is not up for discussion. Right. Yeah. Right. Oh my goodness. AC, nails and glitter. What topics constitute fake news here? Just a polite question. If she's kind of busy right now, but she might maybe be able to answer. There's certain criteria, but Valerie, oh my God, that's so exciting. Nails and glitter. Oh, she answered. Bullshit won't be entertained. If you see something blocked, it's bullshit. Very concise. Okay. ST. How do you feel about the tyrant governor in Virginia declaring an unconstitutional gun ban during a state of emergency? That's what our next topic is. In fact, I feel like there is a balance between individual rights and, how do I explain this? Individuals' rights and the well-being of the general population. I'm not sure, and a lot of people are really peeved, and I don't know the details enough to go into it, but I do know that is our next topic. So thank you for bringing it up. If it's unconstitutional, I'm not sure why it is if it's a state of emergency. So we kind of have to, I don't want to mince words here. Clearly, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, let me get everyone filled in on this if they haven't been watching this. Virginia governor declared state of emergency ahead of a gun rally. Because what they're doing right now is there's going to be a rally protesting some changes. Governor Ralph Northam said they had credible threats of violence ahead of a rally that was expected to draw thousands of gun right advocates to the state capitol. On multiple platforms, they found credible evidence that people were not coming there to protest peacefully. And that's terrifying, because that's kind of the tenet of our nation. We're supposed to be able to do that. So Governor Ralph Northam on Wednesday declared a state of emergency, and he announced a temporary ban on weapons on the grounds of the state capitol. So he kind of like, I believe he sequestered it off, like a certain area where most of the protesters, thousands of protesters, are expected to converge in Richmond on Monday, the 20th, to, I guess, is that right? Monday, yeah. Let me just see one thing here. I think I have it right. Yeah, okay, just checking the date. To oppose a series of gun restrictions, their proposed restrictions. I don't think they've actually gone through yet. About restrictions on gun purchases are expected to be taken up in the legislature in Virginia, and Democrats control both chambers, and for the first time in like a generation, maybe. So people are very concerned about having, what they expect to be their rights taken away. And what happened was, it's not that the people want to protest, it's that they got word of actual real people who want to do bad things to people. And you know what? So I guess how I feel is, your right to carry a weapon into an area where people are going to do bad things. They're not thinking they are. They've said, we are going to do bad things. I got to err on the side of safety. I mean, when an individual's rights means groups of people will be dead or maimed, or it's not worth it. I mean, that's just my take, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I just don't think it's worth it. That's all. But let me read a few more things. Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting question. All right, AC, nails and glitter. You should make a list because I'm quite hesitant to post in case I get blocked. I don't know if you've been blocked yet, but she's pretty consistent, AC, and she gets a quick, good feel. So I don't think you'll get blocked. Valerie, what are your thoughts on Native Americans not being able to vote because they don't have an address because they live on a reservation? My thoughts, that is a great question. My thoughts on that are that is effing obnoxious. Absolutely obnoxious. It's beyond surreal to me. Beyond surreal. And what is happening in that regard makes me disgusted to be a human being. Okay? Not a lot of things make me disgusted to be a human being. It's unstinking believable. Great point. Oh, nails and glitter. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Valerie. Yeah. I chime in anytime about it if you have stuff to say. I find it to be unconscionable and inhumane and disgusting, and I can't even talk about it without getting upset. It's like, it's really sick stuff. Really sick stuff. I left your other comments because, okay. I'm going to skip that. Pat, they need to fix the prisons in Mississippi because it's very unconstitutional at this point. Pat, I am going to research that. We talked about that today. I really, really feel like right now our prison system is the sickest thing. I have spoken to so many people who end up, for whatever reason, going to prison, and prison for adults in America is punitive. And that is disgusting. Okay? Because 98% of people who go to prison are going to come out someday and walk on the streets with your children. after we've tortured them, put them in solitary, treated them like they are worthless, allowed gangs to take over for profit, profiting off of people's misery. That's some sick shit. So yeah, Pat, you know I'm like, dang. Okay. And sorry, I'm scrolling a little bit. Okay, let me just see. Sorry, I'm scrolling back. Let me just back up. Yeah, so Pat, absolutely. It's so sick. I can't even think. Valerie, sometimes kids do stupid things. Yeah, right. Exactly. And now there's so much more research going on about our brain development. I mean, we're at the infancy of understanding what our brain does. I mean, now they're saying 25, your brain isn't fully developed. I mean, I'm not making excuses for people, but with the systemic racism, with the lack of training, I've done a couple of videos on the lack of training overall for police. And if I was a police officer, I'd be enraged because it's giving all police, making them all look like they're just criminals out to be racist. And you know that's not the case, but it's out of control. And it's out of control. It's like when I was a teacher and the McMartin case came up. It was a child abuse case, and every teacher, I mean, it was such a horrific case. Every teacher was scrutinized, every last one. But the thing is, the district stepped up to the plate around the country and made sure we all had the training and the transparency, and we're not doing that because, you know, we're leaving it to the state. And what a difference. There is some research on that is mind-boggling. And it is, I did a couple of videos on it. It is the amount of crime in your area does not have to coincide with how many deaths that police, you know, lives police take. You know, that they shouldn't because the person was innocent, had no weapon, was doing nothing. Or that they shouldn't anyway because they could have de-escalated. There's no correlation. The only correlation they could find is the willingness for the community to accept people being murdered with impunity. And that is terrifying. And I don't know if I explained that very well, but dang. But yes, Valerie, absolutely. I have a video up on my thing about certain nations that take a different approach, and their recidivism is like almost non-existent compared to ours. What do you think is going to happen when you take a human being that's troubled, treat them like dirt, torture them, give them PTSD, terrify them, and then let them free to walk around with your children on the streets? I think most people would understand that's not how you help people. It's just not. It's just so wrong. I think history is going to judge us very harshly on how we've chosen to treat the most vulnerable people in our society. And yes, people in prison are incredibly vulnerable. They're in prison. Their freedom's gone. So, thank you, Valerie. I'm so happy you're here. This is exciting. Ghost Killer, peace out. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry about all the trolls. I really am. But I think once they realize that they're actually helping my channel, maybe they will go away. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, actually. Let me see. Thanks for being here, Moppy. AC, you're helping me grow too as a human. can I just please say I love you? Thank you. If you're talking to me, if you're not, I'm just kidding. Thank you. That's what we're here for. That's what everyone should be here for. I just don't get it. It's kind of funny. My title is Angry Soccer Mom because I don't hate anybody. I really, well, there may be that. No, just kidding. Maybe one per, no, I don't hate anybody. I'm hurt by people. Daquan, thank you for being here. Hello. We're just kind of wrapping up, but I'm happy to have you here. And I will scroll down for a couple more comments. Yeah, Pat, the trolls, I know they won't stop. But don't bear with me. I've been being mentored by people who know about trolls, and they're saying that they'll go away. So I'm just going to scroll down. Yes, Valerie, it's a public safety issue. Thank you. See, you should be on here. You're very succinct. Absolutely. It's a public safety issue. You can say this villainous governor, but for the love of God, do you remember Charlottesville? I mean, there's people who gather in public have the right to be safe, and credible threats, allowing them to go, I mean, that's suicide. Not by choice. They absolutely should be allowed to protest, but the safety of our society has to be more important. They're not guessing that people are going to come there and try to hurt and kill people. They have credible information. So it's kind of a no-brainer to me. But yeah, people should be allowed to protest, but maybe they could leave their weapons at home. Neil, it is more about any state gun laws. It is more about any state gun laws they deem unconstitutional. I'm referring to Virginia. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see how it goes over. I mean, obviously, even if there are Democrats in both chambers, they can't do something unconstitutional, can they? So I don't know. AC, what rap music should I listen to in order to understand the struggle of systemic oppression? I have absolutely no idea. I don't listen to rap music. I don't listen to any music. And I'm not sure if that's the good route to go. I have no idea. Interesting question. Yeah, I don't know if that's... Valerie, this is my first time. I am happy to see you. I am so happy to have you. Oh my God, you have no idea. That I'm doing a great job, actually. Thank you. I'm trying. I make mistakes, but you know what? It's how I learn, and I just gotta do the best I can. Thank you so much for being here, Valerie. God, I'm so happy to have you. AC, some of the people actually want to contribute to the discussion, but are getting deleted. Why wouldn't they want to contribute? AC, I gotta believe in my moderator. She's helping me tremendously. And anyone who wants to take that up with me on my Angry Soccer Mom page, you are welcome to do so, just privately. I trust her, and she's helping me, and I can't second guess her. I'm sorry if you're feeling that way. I imagine that's very frustrating. But please feel free to talk to me about it in private. We can discuss it, and you can tell me. Okay. At this point, I will delete misinformation posed as a question. Yeah, so she's not going to put up with BS, like people going, well, you know what I'm saying. She's savvy. She's been around the block with this kind of thing. So she's not going to let people derail the conversation, I think, kind of. Gary, Nails and Glitter, thanks. And thank you, Gary, too, and Nails and Glitter. Neil, governor announced the plans at a news something and vowed to oppose any unconstitutional restrictions on guns. Okay, so Neil, sorry, thank you, Valerie. Neil, sorry if my comment doesn't make sense. I was in a hurry. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were talking about, but it's okay. AC, what's the Angry Soccer Mom page? AC, it is on Facebook. I got kicked out of Facebook completely but I am on that page still for various reasons. Long story. And you can go on there and actually, I don't have Messenger anymore because they just booted me off with no explanation. But there's a messenger that goes to my page that you can contact me. It's just a Facebook page. And I've never been on any other platform other than Facebook. I had one big page, one medium-sized group, and a couple of other, groups with a couple hundred people in them. And I'm on Twitter. My Twitter address, you can tell I don't know what I'm talking about, is Imagine No Hate. That's what it's called. And I don't really have viewers there, really, maybe like 10 people. I don't know how to use Twitter. Okay, I said it. I'm not worthy. But you're absolutely welcome to jump on and I'll talk to you. I just have to, maybe not tonight because it's getting really late, but absolutely, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Let me see. Doug, hello. Thank you for being here. This has been a great live stream. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I am extremely happy to have you. And thank you for the nice compliment. Let me see. Pat. And you shouldn't put up with it. Y'all lucky I'm not the moderator. Uh-oh, Pat, are you volunteering? Are you volunteering? Yeah, you guys, I cannot thank Nails and Glitter enough for helping. And she's going to make mistakes. But you know what? You should see me do this. I'd be like the worst. So I really appreciate what she's doing, and she's mentoring me. And there is nothing more important to me than learning from people who live this. It's the only way I can vicariously understand and learn is if they give me this gift of their emotional energy of teaching me by telling me their most intimate feelings about what's going on. It's a gift because I'll never know what it's like to be a person in a historically marginalized group in that sense. I mean, obviously I'm a woman, and it's not the same thing. It just isn't. And so for her to, and anyone in my past and present that talks to me and speaks openly and genuinely, it's a gift. They're teaching me what I will never be able to know. And sometimes I don't want to hear it because it's awful. I'd rather just plug my ears because it's so horrible. But it's a gift. So that's kind of how I feel. I'm thrilled with Nails and Glitter. And John. Oh, hi, John. Imagine No Hate. Yeah. Wait, so I just posted a private Facebook message. AC, yeah. To be honest, since I've never messaged myself, you can give a message to the page and I'll get it. So, and I'm not sure how to tell you it works because I have no idea because I've never done it, but I can try to figure it out. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Doug, thank you so much. And Pat, you're a tough one. I know you'd be Nails. John, Imagine No Hate. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't think anyone understands Twitter. Make me feel better. Thanks. Because actually, I'm like a slow learner, but I kind of accept it in myself. Probably bothers other people. Valerie says, Nails, you are doing a great job of moderating. Valerie, I think so too. I'm so, so lucky to have people who are wonderful. They were out tonight. And I think what I'm going to do, oh, James, hi there. I'm here for political discussion. Thank you, James. Me too. And that makes me very happy, and social issues. And yay, thank you. And I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Doug, yes, but some of the questions that were seemingly pretty innocuous were also deleted. And because I'm kind of doing this and talking, I can't really do both. And I have a lot of trust in her, Nails and Glitter, my hero. And if you want to discuss it, jump right on to Angry Soccer Mom and I'll be happy to talk about anything with you. But she's helping me, so who am I to complain? It's like she's doing the best she can. Okay? I think she has a kind of a set parameter that she's trying to consistently stick with. And she has a lot of experience. So I am honored to have her. Okay. But I'm happy to talk to you and privately if you want to. Let me see. Valerie, Doug, just the stupid questions. Yeah, she's pretty transparent. And it's a lot of work. There are reasons I'll delete something that's, there are reasons I'll delete something that seems okay that isn't. Oh, okay, they're right. She's saying she this isn't random, right? But I appreciate the feedback, but she's not being random. She knows what she's doing. But anyway, I appreciate you, Nails and Glitter. You will never know. So I'm going to say good night to everybody. I have another topic that's very, very interesting, and I might use it next time. I found it very interesting. It's about Deval Patrick and what he has to say about the absence of diversity on the Democratic stage yesterday. And he had a lot to say, but I think it's bedtime. I wanted to tell people, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. And I am sorry there's a lot of people who are on here being silly and goofy. And I hope you can bear with me through that, because this is really, really important to be able to talk about this. Really, really important, because until we talk about it, we're never going to be able to solve any of this. And for some people, they like that. They don't want to solve systemic racism. They don't care. But I do, so this is what I do. So if you support me and believe in what I'm doing, which is trying to educate white folks about our real racial history so that we can be part of the solution. Because being neutral, no such thing. So good night. And Valerie, I am so thrilled you were here. Thank you so much. Good night. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, Nails and Glitter. And I could name every person, and Pat. And I'm just not going to name everybody. But if you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white America to start learning our racial history and start caring about our fellow humans and not living a lie, making liberty and justice for all actually be for everybody, please consider supporting me by jumping on my YouTube channel and watching some videos. Okay? And I will say good night and thank you. So happy that everyone was here. And I'm sorry about the trolls. Good night, everybody. Maybe